I'm Leon Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday tone tip. Today's video I'm going to call double ups because I want to look at pairs of effect blocks that you can use together before and after an amp and cab block to really enhance what you would get out of just using a single version of one of those blocks. For example, two compressors, one before and one after the amp, two choruses, two reverbs. Let's take a look at some of my favorite options. This is something new that I've kind of been playing around with on the Axe FX3, and we've got so much horsepower on this unit that this is a great way to kind of really open up some creative effect routings on there. Before we get started though, Band Commander, totally stock settings. I'm using one of my own IRs that you can get for free on Exchange. On my Strat, it sounds like this. Alrighty, let's start off using a pair of compressors, and I'm going to start with a compressor before the amp. I'm going to use the JFET compressor with a really fast attack time on here to just add a little bit of a change in the feel of the way this clean amp reacts. I love high gain. I love the way high gain feels under my fingers when I'm playing, and I find this particular compressor type with these settings kind of gets me a little bit more of that feel. It's not a super squishy, pronounced compressor on there, but it definitely changes the way I like to attack the guitar. This is what we get. So it's pretty subtle there. You wouldn't necessarily know that I'm using a compressor there. You might just say, well, that's the way that clean amp sounds. What we'll do is pair that with a compressor after the amp and cab. And in this case, I'm going for the optical compressor with a slower attack time and a faster release time. I'm going to think of this like a punch control. It's going to take that established amp tone and it's just going to kind of make it pop in the mix a little bit more. Let's have a listen to what it does there. There is definitely more of a pronounced effect there, but it's not changing the feel of the front end of the amp or like the gain structure there. It's just taking what I've already got and it's making it pop, as I said earlier. So two compressors in there. I really like the JFET up front and the optical out back there. Next, let's take a look at two chorus blocks. I'm going to use an analog mono chorus in front of the amp just for that kind of typical pedal style chorus. Let's have a listen to this. It's not too wobbly, it's not too kind of seasick deep or anything like that. It's just what I would consider a really nice chorus for a clean sound. Alrighty, so that sounds lovely, but because it's in front of the amp, it can't be nice and wide and stereo. And I'm going to use a much more subtle chorus, the Dimension 2, rate at 0.5 Hertz, depth at 30% to make everything sound super wide. Those two together is a beautiful combo. I love that. It's got that kind of classic 80s ripple effect happening there. I'm going to turn both these chorus blocks off because I'll give you an alternative to that with two flanger blocks. One, the electric mystery in front of the amp sounds like this. And then we're going to use the deluxe mystery. I've just increased the rate and turned the depth down again. Again, this is like a version of what we did with the chorus blocks there. One for a little bit of subtle wobble, one for width, we get this. I love this combination of these two flanger types. Pretty awesome. Again, kind of a riff on that chorus setting there. And of course, I don't have any feedback on these flanges. If you like kind of really deep, kind of swooshy flanges, I would bump up the feedback on these. Alrighty, next, let's try two delays. I'm gonna use the graphite copy in front of the amp for a really aggressive, yet kind of sweet sounding rhythmic delay. It's synced up to a dotted eighth note. I've just done that tempo sync and I've turned the mix up. We get this. So that is the graphite copy in front of the amp. Again, thinking of this as like mono up front, stereo and wide out back, I'm gonna add the stereo mind guy delay, mix it 15%. I've synced this to a quarter note and set the left-right time ratio to 75%. So technically, this is gonna give me a quarter note and a dotted eighth note delay, but with a lower mix. And this is a really dark sounding delay. So it's basically just gonna add a kind of ambient delay in there, but it's still synced up to the tempo, so these delays will cascade together. There's a pretty amazing effect. I love it. How good is that? That is a killer combo right there. Lastly, let's do two reverbs. A medium spring reverb. This is at totally stock settings in front of the amp for that kind of classic spring reverb drip. Really lovely spring reverb sound there. And then let's pair this with a bigger, more ambient reverb. I've chosen the South Church at stock settings. So you're gonna get your drip up front and that really lovely dark reverb tone from the medium spring, but then the South Church is just this glorious, deep sounding reverb. Together, we get this. Again, much like the delays, a pretty killer combination there. So there's a few double ups to play around there. The general idea being that you want something in front of the amp for character. Like if you want a particular chorus or flanger or delay sound with a real distinct tone, put it in front of the amp. And then if you want something to make your tone really wide or pretty sounding, put that after the amp and the cab. And we saw a bunch of those combos there. The last thing, I said we put a pin in this, is if you want to say engage both, let's say both chorus blocks together. What I would do is I would go to the bypass tab here, right click it and set the modifier source to be a control switch. I'm going to select control switch number 1. Now what I'm going to do is actually flip the values here so that when the control switch is at its maximum, it's engaged, and when it's at its minimum, it's bypass. And let's just do that on both blocks. Then I can assign a control switch to one of my FC controllers. So same control switch, same settings. When I turn it on and off, both of these blocks are going to be engaged. So let me just find my control switch layout down here. So check this out. I'm going to hit one switch and it's going to kick in both chorus blocks. love the way that sounds. If you've got any other double ups with blocks like this, feel free to experiment with them and let me know in the comments if you have any other questions or requests. Also, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to kick in all of these effects. Why not? Let's have some fun and see where we end up with this. And I will see you all next week. Thanks for watching.